A continuación tenemos a Tom Ryan, que es fundador y CEO de Threadless, una comunidad tienda de diseñadores que lo que tiene entretenido es que, bueno, que se juntan tanto las personas creativas como las personas que quieren comprar y permite realmente interactuar de una forma muy social. Empezaron con camisetas, imagino que ahora nos contará cómo hasta hacen los diseños de portátiles de él, incluso de hawaianas. Con vosotros, Tom Ryan.
Thank you, Carlos. I'm very excited to be here today. I'm a huge fan of Spain, and just wanted to start by saying that it's always a pleasure to come here. In fact, my wife lived in Madrid for a while, and for many years we've been coming back to Spain once per year just to take in all that Spain has to offer. And it's been just a fantastic trip. This is our second trip this year. We were actually married in Mallorca, and earlier this summer we were in Ibiza, and we were very excited watching Spain win the World Cup. And I got very excited on Facebook and was tweeting about it, and I think I lost possibly a Dutch friend in the process, but it was a lot of fun. I try to limit my trips to Spain to once per year, primarily for health reasons. I'm hopelessly addicted to jamón ibérico and choricitos picantitos. And I fear that this second trip in 1 year could be dangerous. So if anybody finds me out in the street with a leg of ham next to me, passed out, unconscious, please call an ambulance because I've probably had a ham overdose. Let me just get my presentation to the beginning here because it seems to be in the middle. Great, so I'm going to talk to you today about Threadless and what we've learned from 10 years of community-based commerce. We're a community-based design company that was started 10 years ago. And what we do is we host an open call for t-shirt design submissions from visual artists from around the world at threadless.com. This is a screenshot of the artist submission page. Essentially, we invite artists, visual artists, whether they be graphic designers, illustrators, or photographers, to submit whatever idea they have for a t-shirt to threadless.com. And then our community of 1.4 million people rates the designs from 0 to 5 stars. We print the best ones as t-shirts and increasingly other products. And we pay the winning designer a handsome cash fee. As you can see here, $2,500 for the first print, and then we pay them reprint fees. To date, we've had about 100,000 people who have submitted a design at a rate of up to hundreds per day now. And each week we release about a dozen t-shirts, new and reprints, from among the highest scored designs. The odds of an artist getting a design printed are slim, but the artists aren't participating simply for cash and glory. They get great value from other areas of the Threadless community, from feedback that helps them improve their designs and makes them better artists, to being part of a supportive creative community, and from the pure joy of creation and sharing of one's work. This is a screenshot from our scoring page. We invite anybody in the world to come and join in the creative process, even if they don't have an artistic bone in their body. We have people who are members of the community that just are big art enthusiasts. They like to come in, participate, score designs, and as a result, even non-creators get to help create our Threadless products. They love having a bit of creative control and the empowerment that it brings them. And some individual community members have scored over 100,000 designs. The new t-shirts, as I mentioned, are released each week, actually twice per week. We do new designs on Monday and reprints on Thursdays. It gives freshness of design, and it also gives people a reason to check back to Threadless every week or even every few days. The community is made up of three overlapping groups: the artists who submit, the participants or members who comment, critique, and provide other feedback, and then consumers who buy t-shirts. And more often than not, most people fall into more than one group. We look to involve the community in every aspect of our business, and as you'll see here from our homepage, that includes having our employees and our community members be the models for our products. So all the products are modeled by community members, employees, friends of the company, and we try to add a lot of fun into everything that we do to make the product shots kind of mirror what's going on in the designs. I'll run a short little video here just to give you an idea of some of the diversity of the designs and some of our web metrics. We have 3 million monthly uniques, 1.4 million members, 1 million people on our email subscriber list. We've invested heavily and early in social media, so we have 1.6 million Twitter followers and 165,000 Facebook fans, and we think it makes a lot of sense to invest early even before ROI is apparent. In the 10 years we've been in business, we've had 300,000 submissions, 200 million votes on those submissions. As you can see, not a lot printed based on the total number of submissions, just 2,500. And we're selling millions of tees per year, and we've been expanding into new product categories, from consumer electronics cases to even Havaianas flip-flops and other companies where we feel that visual expression can enhance the products. Where people want personalization and awesome artwork from around the world that they can't find anywhere else. We're often held up as a poster child of the crowdsourcing movement, and it's true, we fall into this greater category of the term that Jeff Howe from Wired magazine coined, crowdsourcing, basically having people outside of your employees or designated consultants creating the work that the company then goes and sells. But we don't like to necessarily use this word to describe ourselves. We typically use community-based design. So we don't think of ourselves as necessarily sourcing, because that connotes having a specification for a product and actually asking people to design to that product. What we think is really important is to tap into this joy of creation and to allow people to have complete artistic freedom. So they're submitting any idea that they want. They're not being told to submit a design about X, Y, or Z. Jeff Howe made an interesting quote. He said, "Making stuff is the most joyful occupation in which we ever engage, the closest we ever come to God." And we think there's some truth in that, and it's an interesting way of putting it, because the amount of passion and the amount of great creative support in the community is overwhelming at times, and that comes from everyone's joy of actually creating something, sharing it, and having the community help them improve it. Second, we don't necessarily look at it as a crowd. We look at this as a community, again, sharing this joy of creation, being helpful, and being supportive, not an anonymous crowd over there somewhere. So while we definitely fall into this category, I think, of overall web trends, there's a nuance that we see, and we think that it's a community-based design or a community-based creative environment. For our 10-year anniversary, we released a book which came out, which gives a retrospective of the great designs that our community has created. It also has a few essays by some notable authors and technologists and entrepreneurs. Jeff Howe, again, included an interesting quote in our book, and we thought this really resonated. He said, "It's not surprising that people gravitated to Threadless, because really they were gravitating to one another." Threadless puts the community on a pedestal, and then they step into the background. And what's necessary is to be in the room where the party takes place, and so Threadless became an impeccable host. And that's kind of how we see ourselves, as a host of a party or a catalyst for the community. We're really there to be a custodian to help all of the magic that happens in the community, rather than to be in the forefront of it, because the real great work is the work that the artists and participants and rest of the Threadless community creates. Quickly, just on our core values, we believe in strength of community. Clearly, we are a community-based business, and we think that great things can come in many different industries from a community-based model. We believe in creativity. Our whole business is based upon it, and we like to foster it wherever we can, both outside into the community as well as within our company with our employees. And honesty. To be in a community-based business, transparency and authenticity are not negotiable. So I'll share some lessons that we've learned from the past 10 years. First is that great ideas really can come from anywhere or anyone, more precisely, and that enthusiasm for an idea can really trump experience. We see this every day in the community in terms of the designs that get submitted and voted upon and turned into products. But we also feel that this has a lot to do with how employees are motivated and how they like to work within an organization. So we try to tap in, we really want to channel that passion from both employees in our company as well as community members who are not employees and let them run with their ideas, because we believe that ownership over an idea is possibly the most critical factor to making it a success. More important in many cases than functional expertise. A good example of how we channel passion via employees is a comic book series of t-shirts that we put out last year. And this was actually an idea from our warehouse manager. So he runs our warehouse day to day, but he's a comic book fanatic. And he's got tons of comic books, knows everything about comics. And he came to us with this idea for a series of comic book tees sold as issues, much like comic books are sold. We thought the idea was good, but he had this fire in his eyes. And we said, go for it. Give it a shot. We were sure that just with that passion that he had, that he was going to turn into something really interesting. So somehow he enlisted the world's top comic book artists to create this series of comic book tees that you see up here. These are superstars in their craft, and they all signed on. This was launched at Comic-Con, which is a major comics and creative show in San Diego earlier this year, and they were very well received by the comic book community, which was great for us because we extended into a new market. But at the same time, they're products that are very much true to our spirit of having great visual art on a t-shirt. So it took us into a whole new market, but I don't think we would have been able to get as far as we did without our warehouse manager leading the charge on this. His knowledge and his enthusiasm for the product were critical to its success. And he pursued this project really without missing a beat in his day job. In fact, if anything, he's more satisfied in his day job because he knows that we support him in doing things like this, and we support other people in our company and community doing things like this. So we think it's very important to find the people in your organization who are passionate about your business and your products and let them run with things rather than only being passionate about whatever function they may be in within the company. A way in which we channeled that passion from the community was through this t-shirt you see here, which was actually a charity t-shirt that we did to support relief efforts in Haiti after the devastating earthquake that took place last winter. Our art director was speaking to a couple of threadless designers who were in the Dominican Republic. We actually didn't have any artists from Haiti. They felt helpless, as did we. We were all devastated by the news, and they wanted to help Haitian victims. And so we decided to let them work together to create a charity t-shirt. What you see here is a sort of a Haitian street art style, and in the Haitian French dialect, it means many hands make the load lighter, which we thought was a great positive message of hope and community support in an unimaginably dark and difficult time. And so within days, we put this on our website and we're selling it with all proceeds, including costs for making them, going to relief efforts. And within a matter of weeks, we raised $100,000 for the Red Cross, and they've been using this to make microloans to Haitian residents to get back on their feet and to help generally with kickstarting their lives again. So it provided us as well with the impetus to do another charitable relief tee, this time for the Gulf Coast oil spill in the US. And again, we raised another $100,000 for a charity that's looking to do cleanup efforts in the Gulf. through this. So again, we found that by channeling this passion from the artists in the Dominican Republic, we've created this new line of things that we do that people get very excited about being a part of because of the great help and work that they do. And we're now actually looking at doing more cause-oriented and charity-based projects going forward. This is a picture of our employees wearing the Haitian relief tee. And we don't think that you need to be in a community-based business to connect with the people that surround your company. We think that it's key to embrace those around your company no matter what business you're in. And in fact, every business has some evangelists of the community or of the company, or they have product geeks, and we think that it's key to tap into them because most of the people that may have the greatest passion for your company or your products are not employees. In the era of Facebook and Twitter as well, it's easier than ever to find these people too. So it's a great time to be doing this. So a question we ask ourselves and that we think that every company should ask themselves is, does your organization channel passion or does it crush passion? Do you have to pitch up from corporate layer to corporate layer to get an idea cleared, or is there some way to funnel ideas and allow people to actually take ownership of them and run with them and get them done? So one thing that we've done to try to make that funnel more smooth and in order to ensure that great ideas can get approved and worked on is something we call DIY Day. This is just a picture of our old office where we were holding a DIY Day, which stands for Do It Yourself Day. And it's something we do approximately once per quarter. It's a forum where anyone can pitch an idea of what they would like to do to somehow make threadless better. And they spend the full day working on it. Maybe they pair up with somebody who shares an interest in their idea. And then at the end of the day, they show a refined pitch or a prototype. And we decide if it gets approved or not. And if so, they can spend a significant percentage of their work time making that idea a reality. Google has something called 20% time, which I think is along the same lines. When we first started this, we were concerned about how people would juggle these with their day jobs. We thought, how many projects are going to come up? Will this affect productivity? How relevant will these ideas be to our core business? And it turns out, and maybe we were lucky, but it turns out that almost every idea was core to improving the business. Every employee had some idea about how they could make threadless better that was gnawing at them, that they wanted to actually move forward with. And this venue actually provided them with the forum that they needed to actually come up and raise their hand and say, this is how I'd like to fix threadless or improve threadless or make the community better. So we've wound up approving every idea so far. We've given some feedback on how to improve certain ideas, but everyone's been approved because they've been so good. And DIY Day is cited by our employees as one of the best things about working at Threadless. Another lesson, and we actually took this language from a friend of Threadless who works at Facebook in the design department, but it struck a chord with us because this is actually a principle that we kind of go by but just didn't have a name for. He said, build a better experience for what your community is already doing. And we think that that's a very important concept because your community or your customers are oftentimes doing things before you're doing them. They're one step ahead of you, and those people who care so much that they'll hack something together or do something difficult in order to get something out of your business that you yourself are not already offering, they need to be paid attention to. And it's oftentimes a lot of companies will sit in a room, come up with ideas of what they want to release as a feature or a new project next, when there's so many great ideas that are already being hacked in one form or another by people who don't even work at the company. So we think this is super important. In fact, our business, we've been in business 10 years. Because we've grown largely through word of mouth, which really knows no borders, we became an accidental international success. So we basically have a very international base of all three groups of the company, from artists to members to customers. That we're more international than we are American in terms of the makeup of those three groups, of each of those three groups. And last year we shipped to about 150 countries, and international has been growing so quickly that it's now over half of our revenues. However, all of that was done without any real proactive effort beyond just agreeing to ship to those countries. So people had to deal with customs issues in certain countries, or long delivery times, an inability for some people to be able to read our website. In fact, it got so bad that there were sites that were dedicated to showing people who didn't speak English how they could check out on Threadless with a visual diagram, just because they wanted our product so much and we weren't providing that service. So this is not a revolutionary thing, it's quite simple, but we recently launched sites for the shopping portion of Threadless in Spanish, German, and French. And here in Europe, you guys do that from day one, so I don't know that will be super impressive, but for us, just for a lot of American e-commerce companies, going international generally just means turning on shipping to those countries rather than trying to be proactive. And so while we were an accidental success internationally, we're really trying to be very proactive now. We're looking to translate the artist and the participation sides into these languages. We're looking to drive many more language translations in the coming months. And we're also looking to bring on marketers who can help us market, particularly within the social web, to people who speak these languages and really get participation up. So the community often moves faster than we can, but we need to take cues from the community and give them a better experience. And those international things are probably just the beginning for us. We really want to get more aggressive as time goes on. Another example of how we make a better experience based on what the community is already doing is this design here, which is called My Other Ride is a Light Cycle. It became a top-selling hoodie on Threadless, and it's inspired by the Tron movie, the original Tron movie. So one of our artists submitted it. It won. And it became a very good seller for us. And of course, since that's the good guy version, if any of you are Tron fanatics, you'll recognize the Sark version, which is the bad guy version, which we put out, which also sold very well. It got us thinking, though, with our artist community being so interested in taking inspiration from various elements of pop culture, whether it be music or movies or TV or other things, shouldn't we be trying to do something more? Shouldn't we be creating a better experience for what the community is already doing and showing us they want? And so we teamed up just recently with the Walt Disney Company, and we have and what we do is we host an open call for t-shirt design submissions from visual artists from around the world at threadless.com. This is a screenshot of the artist submission page. Essentially, we invite artists, visual artists, whether they be graphic designers, illustrators, or photographers, to submit whatever idea they have for a t-shirt to threadless.com. And then our community of 1.4 million people rates the designs from 0 to 5 stars. We print the best ones as t-shirts and increasingly other products. And we pay the winning designer a handsome cash fee. As you can see here, $2,500 for the first print, and then we pay them reprint fees. To date, we've had about 100,000 people who have submitted a design. I'm a huge fan of Spain, and just wanted to start by saying that it's always a pleasure to come here. In fact, my wife lived in Madrid for a while, and for many years we've been coming back to Spain once per year just to take in all that Spain has to offer. And it's been just a fantastic trip. This is our second trip this year. We were actually married in Mallorca, and earlier this summer we were in Ibiza, and we were very excited watching Spain win the World Cup. And I got very excited on Facebook and was tweeting about it, and I think I lost possibly a Dutch friend in the process, but it was a lot of fun. I try to limit my trip.
A continuación tenemos a Tom Ryan, que es fundador y CEO de Seedless, una comunidad tienda de diseñadores que lo que tiene entretenido es que, bueno, que se juntan tanto las personas creativas como las personas que quieren comprar y permite realmente interactuar de una forma muy social. Empezaron con camisetas, imagino que ahora nos contará cómo hasta hacen los diseños de portátiles de él, incluso de hawaianas. Con vosotros, Tom Ryan.
Thank you, Carlos. I'm very excited to be here today. Trips to Spain to once per year, primarily for health reasons. I'm hopelessly addicted to jamón ibérico and choricitos picantitos. And I fear that this second trip in 1 year could be dangerous. So if anybody finds me out in the street with a leg of ham next to me, passed out, unconscious, please call an ambulance because I've probably had a ham overdose. Let me just get my presentation to the beginning here because it seems to be in the middle. Great, so I'm going to talk to you today about threadless and what we've learned from 10 years of community-based commerce. We're a community-based design company that was started 10 years ago at a rate of up to hundreds per day now. And each week we release about a dozen T-shirts, new and reprints, from among the highest scored designs. The odds of an artist getting a design printed are slim, but the artists aren't participating simply for cash and glory. They get great value from other areas of the threadless community, from feedback that helps them improve their designs and makes them better artists, to being part of a supportive creative community, and from the pure joy of creation and sharing of one's work. This is a screenshot from our scoring page. We invite anybody in the world to come and join in the creative process, even if they don't have an artistic bone in their body. So we have people who are members of the community that just